So as No Shave November comes to a close, and unfortunately I had meetings and things that I had to do, so I've only been able to participate for the last about week and a half. Um, the rant for today is people incorrectly using the term racist. Now let's be really clear: Muslim is not a race. You can be white, you can be Hispanic, you can which is also white. Caucasoid is you have white non-Hispanic and white Hispanic, Negroid, Mongoloid, doesn't matter what you are. Anybody can be a Muslim. So to say that somebody's racist because they're against Muslims makes you an idiot. Um, to say that you hate all Muslims makes you just as big of an idiot. If somebody's a Muslim, they may or may not be a radical Islamic terrorist. They may or may not sympathize with radical Islamic terrorists. But if you're a radical Islamic terrorist, you are most definitely a Muslim. So if you hear that somebody's opposed to Muslims or opposed to radical Islamic terrorists and you call them an idiot, I have an extreme prejudice against you, because I have an extreme prejudice against all idiots. Because the worst thing for this planet are idiots, well, like you. So at the same time, if you say you hate all Muslims because of the radical Islamic terrorists, you're also an idiot, and I have a strong prejudice against you, because most of what's wrong with this world are idiots like you. Now, if you say you hate radical Islamic terrorists, and you're cautious with all Muslims until you know where they stand, that's not being an idiot. That's being prudent. That's self-preservation. Because until you know if that person wants you dead or not, you can't fully trust them. So once you know that they don't want you dead, if you still hate them, well, then you're just an idiot. And if you say, oh, all Muslims are great people and we should accept them all, we should bring them into our country, and we don't need to vet them because, well, they're refugees and they're poor, displaced people and yada, 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 well, you're the worst kind of idiot. I remember back when I was wanting to save the world. For lack of a better term, I was a bleeding heart. But then I grew up, But I remember when I thought we could save the whole world, and I thought we could do these things, and I thought that, if everybody just loved each other, well, you know what? That was great when I was a kid, but at some point you have to grow up. And to have those notions as an adult also makes you an idiot. And idiots are basically what's wrong with this world right now. So as an adult, I have to look at things and be more prudent. I have to look and say, well, out of 180,000 refugees that the president wants to bring into the country, the vast majority of them are going to be great people. Muslim or not, they're going to be great people. They're going to be productive, functioning members of society, and they're going to be good people. Statistically, if you come to this country from somewhere else, you are like 7 times more likely to succeed in this country than somebody who was born here, because you don't take it for granted. So I have no doubt that 160,000 of the 180,000 are going to be great people. But there's a very strong likelihood that 20,000 of them are going to want to kill all of us. They want to kill Western civilization. They want to kill anything associated with Western civilization. And until we can ensure that none of those 20,000 get into this country, then we can't take the refugees. It just wouldn't be prudent. It's not good. Until you can guarantee me that the safety of me, my children, and everybody else in this country will not be jeopardized by bringing those refugees to this country, we just can't do it. It just isn't going to work. So we could lie detector all, 180,000 of them, and that might catch half to 3/4 of the 20,000 that want to kill us. But let's face it, these insurgents, these radical Islamic terrorists are very well trained. They're very skilled, and they're very good at what they do. They know what answers to give to what questions to make sure that they pass any of the tests. They know how to give the correct body language responses as well as the verbal responses. So even if you're sitting there watching their body language, you're not going to know they're lying. And most of them, or many of them, not most, but many of them have been taught how to fool a polygraph unit. Fooling a polygraph unit is not that difficult. It just takes a little bit of common sense, intelligence, practice, and skill. Can anybody sit and fool it? No. People will tell you, oh, put a tack in your shoe. Well, yeah, but unless you've practiced that, that's never going to work. And if you have practiced it, it may or may not work. There are ways of tricking it, there are ways of fooling it, but it takes lots of practice, and it's not something you're just going to do overnight. So yeah, we will catch probably 75% of the bad ones, but 75% of the bad ones still puts 5,000 of them in this country. That still puts 5,000 feet on the ground that want to kill everybody in this country. And we see what 7 just did in France. 7 in France just managed to kill 140 plus people. So bringing 5,000 into this country, it's too much. It's too much of a risk. I would love to bring them all in. I'm sure, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And I'm sure most of these refugees fall into the friend category. But unfortunately, too many of them fall into the enemy category. And without knowing who is who, we can't take them. We look at Saudi Arabia. We look at the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, many of these other countries over in the Middle East. And they won't take them. Why won't they take them? They won't take them because the security risk is too high, and they don't know how many of them are actually these radical Islamic terrorists. So if their own religion, their own people won't take them because they're too high of a risk, why are we even contemplating it? It's unfathomable to me. We have a current president, and I don't like him. I don't like his politics, but I don't want to say he's a bad person. I think his intentions are good. I think his heart's in the right place, but I think he's naive, and I think he's still looking at things as though he were a 9-year-old. The 9-year-old thinks you can cure all ills. The 9-year-old thinks we can save the world. The 9-year-old thinks we can do all of this shit that he wants to do. And for a 9-year-old to think that's wonderful. For an 18-year-old to think that is wonderful. Even into your early 20s. If you don't start out life wanting to save the world, there's something seriously friggin' wrong with you. But by the time you're old enough to be the president, if you're still trying to save the world and you still hold on to those ideals and you still believe that that's possible, you're an idiot. Okay, so in a way I feel sorry for him because I think his intentions are good. I think he gets a bad rap on a lot of shit. I just think he's naive, and I think he's ill-advised. I think he's surrounded himself with people that have got these notions in his head, and that he thinks, is he a Muslim? I don't know. I don't even care. Was he born in this country? No, I doubt he was. At this point, I don't give a shit. If he had gotten there and done a good job, none of those things would have mattered. Unfortunately, he hasn't done a good job. And now he wants to do something that's going to drastically affect the landscape of our country. You have some people that are saying, oh, well, he's doing it so that we can have all of this civil unrest and he can declare martial law and stay in office. Maybe, maybe not. It would be the biggest mistake he ever made. Because the biggest army our country has is its citizenry. And they wouldn't take kindly to that. They wouldn't take well to that. It's not going to go over real big. So I don't think he's foolish enough to actually try that. I think it may have crossed his mind. I think it may be something he contemplated or somebody tossed around. I don't think he'll actually do it. I think he knows that that would be the largest of mistakes, and it would put this country to a place that nobody wants to see it, because even though I don't like where it's going right now, where it will go after that war is over, because it would be a civil war, and his side wouldn't win. Everyone says, oh, but he has the military, they have all the big guns, they have this, they have that. But how many in the military would actually be on the side of those fighting back? When 80% of the military walks out and takes their toys with them, then what? So, just food for thought. My rant for the day. Careful using the word racist, because it means racist. It doesn't mean religiousist. It doesn't mean hateful. It doesn't mean bigoted. It means racist. So, all right, have fun. And that'll be my rant for today. We'll have more rants as the months go on.